All right, I'm turning our video on. Okay, I'll start by introducing you guys. This is Craig and Jessica, and the reason that we're doing a video today, so we're middle of May, beginning of May 2024. We are doing this video because this is a 2-week visit. Yeah, I had to think about it. We're just coming to the end, and at the beginning of the week, there was a big improvement. All right, so then I turn this over to the two of you guys. Tell us what's been going on.
Sunday, Craig noticed some movement in his hand, which he hasn't been able to do, and then told everybody about it on Tuesday when he knew it was something. And yeah, we'll show them. That's new. All of that motion is all new.
My question, when's the last time that you were able to move your hands like that?
What do you think? Oh, months. He's saying something. 7 months, he says.
7 months.
Yeah.
And so I think what's so impressive about this change, and the reason I'm super glad that we're doing the video, because you've been progressing for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And so for some people, they might look at this disease and kind of feel like there's some point where people progress, and what if they can't get better? Okay, here we are, right? 2 weeks into this visit, and you've regained that motion in both hands. It's really substantial. Mm-hmm. And not only is it substantial, but it happened very quickly. And so the question is, can people get better if they have ALS? Is there some point where people have progressed and there's no way back? No, because, right, imagine 2 weeks and that hand motion, 7 months without being able to move your hands like this. Mm-hmm. When were you diagnosed?
2022.
Okay. And then I said something like, I know that we need to get this thing under control because all the things that you have, big plans, family, everything like that. But you said it's all about the fishing.
Yeah. If he can fish, he'll be fine.
So the fact that you're getting hands back becomes probably the most important thing, because apparently our big plans are really just about fishing.
Yeah.
All right, well, I can't thank you guys enough for doing the video. And again, the reason, I think people have a very different understanding of ALS as a disease. And I think the way a lot of people look at this, oh, you tell us, I'm ready for you. Oh, thank you. What I was going to say is I think a lot of people feel like it's just a one-way street, but that's not the case at all. And not only are these just major improvements, it's not like a tiny movement of a finger, it's both hands and being able to open them like you are after this length of time. So the question is, is this a treatable disease? Can people get better from this disease?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not only us, like there's several people here this week that are seeing improvements as well.
Yeah, so okay, let's go through this. You came in this week and you already had the hand improvement. We have somebody that has been stable for a period of time. She came back and now she's showing a lot of improvements. Let me think about this. Greg is here this week. I can use his name because he's on a video, and he's continued to have improvements on his voice and his walking. Let me think about who else. Am I missing anybody?
No.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got three people this week.
Yeah.
And again, your hands, it's a major change. It wasn't just, tapping a finger or making small, subtle changes. Yeah, it's almost back to the ability, functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the same thing.
If I can say anything at all, it's to not give up. Trust the process and don't be afraid to put aids in place because you feel like you're giving in. Use the aids to work towards healing because they also can be reversed.
Okay, so I'm going to add to that. We were talking in the room the other day with everybody else over there, and the couple of points that you made that were really important. Make sure that we talk about feeding tubes, and make sure that we talk about other things that help people stay well. So I'm guessing when you're talking about AIDS, that's part of what you're describing.
Yeah.
So we had spoken I don't recall the timing of this whole thing about the idea of a feeding tube. And at the time, I know that that idea has to feel so scary and overwhelming, almost like you're giving in to the disease. And I remember saying to you, as far as getting better, if you can't eat, or it's taken all day to eat, and it's taken up your entire day, right? It's tiring. So eating is no longer fun. You're not getting the calories that you need. If you don't do something about that, you won't get better. So even though I know it could be for some people as a misunderstanding, the idea of giving into the disease, for me, it's the opposite. And I know when you were talking about it yesterday, it's the opposite for you as well. If you don't get the aids and the tools that you need, you can't fight back against this disease.
And you won't always need them either.
Feeding tubes are reversible.
Yeah.
Right? So it is not, getting a feeding tube is not admitting that you have this disease or that you're progressing. You do have this disease and you are progressing. The feeding tube is not the fact behind that.
Yeah.
If you don't get the resources that you need, then you can't eat. And I agree, Craig, in your case, you lost a tremendous amount of weight, feeling like getting the feeding tube was giving in. And we know now our big priority, and Jess, I know you said it the other day, the big priority is to get weight on.
Yeah. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, because this last year has been a lot of, well, you were already saying, a really bad COVID infection and a tremendous amount of weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay, but the place we are now, here you are on the other side of that with your feeding tube, ensuring that you get lots of calories. And what we're seeing now after this length of time, both hands, right? Like an enormous improvement in both hands.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have gotten here without the feeding tube.
No.
I'm not sure that you would be here without the feeding tube.
No.
Okay. And so for everybody that's watching and thinking, to your point, try and do this without the use of aids, of helping by putting things in place, whether it's a power chair, whether it is, we were talking the other night about a BiPAP at night to help breathing, whether it's suction, whatever those things are, we're talking about ways to make sure that you have the chance to get back to being healthy. We are not talking about you making a statement about your disease or admitting that there's progression. It has nothing to do with that. So the key is, don't get in your own head and try and convince yourself that this is a sign of something different. Instead, it's just a way to get better.
Yeah.
I'm super glad that you ultimately decided to put that feeding tube in place. You know, for me, I would have preferred that it be sooner. We had a lot of discussions, but I'm just super glad now. And the improvements, incredibly impressive. And the three of us, we can agree to for sure, they wouldn't have happened if you couldn't have stabilized the number of calories per day. So for everybody that's watching this, you do everything that you need to do to get to the other side. You do everything that you need to do to get back to fishing.
That's right.
Because it's all about the fishing. Hey, thank you guys for this video.